Hello class, so today I am getting into a screencast for our first short paper. And so I'm going to take you to the content page here, and we could see that it's already posted. So first you are wanting to read the Michel de Montaigne, Essays of Michel de Montaigne, that to study philosophy is to learn to die, pages 130 to 140. On the PDF, the contents page actually has a clickable hyperlink to these pages too, by the way. But you could always scroll down to get to 130 and 140. And then also, I want you to look at this Internet Encyclopedia of Philosophy entry on Pyrrho, who was a Greek skeptic. And what I'm wanting students to do is to then figure out how this is working in terms of answering these itemized questions here before our Zoom meeting on the 21st. So as I've indicated before, our Zoom meetings are really preparations for what we'll be doing as far as our written work. Okay, and so you read the Montaigne, by the way, which is down here, and answer these questions to yourself, write them down, think about them, etc. A, what is Montaigne's overall thesis on morality and philosophy? B, how does Pyrrho's skepticism figure into Montaigne's message? C, show how this essay compares to Epicurus's thesis in his letter to Menoetius. And then D, how does value work with the way in which we understand virtue? Okay. Then see Montaigne's advice toward death for guidelines on our first short essay. So we'll be doing this part in our Zoom meeting, and then you'll be writing, obviously, the first short essay, which will be due September 28th. I have here that I'll be posting a midterm guide pretty soon here too. That will be upcoming. So let's go ahead and click on that. On Montaigne's advice toward death, these gifts, by the way, are from videos that I found on the recent fires in California. Then we are reading Michel de Montaigne's essays again, or essay again, that to study philosophy is to learn to die. Same drill. And then you'll also be reading the Pyrrho. And interestingly enough, too, I found a recording, an audio / video recording of someone reading this essay. And the only difference is that he doesn't read the Latin quotes that are inserted in the essay that we have. And then there's also a point at about 8 minutes and 30 seconds where he skips over a paragraph, and that's on our page 132, and then he resumes on our page 133. But that's nice because it has a nice he's reading along with it, and what I do is I play that, and then I open another window and read along here, which makes it so that this essay is much more accessible, which is really cool. I've taught this before, and I didn't know that this recording existed out there. Okay, and then here's a video of me talking about Montaigne's essay to study philosophy is to learn to die, so be sure to listen to that. And then we have the same directions, okay, that we had for our Zooming, okay, and so I won't read those over to you again, but I will look at the do's and don'ts. So, oh, and by the way, we will be writing 700 words, okay? And here are some do's and don'ts. So one, Make sure to address all the itemized criteria points as specifically as possible. These are the criteria points, A, B, C, D. Students who itemize each criteria point into subheadings usually do best with the focus. Okay, so I don't mind if you divide your paper up into just simply answering these questions. I'm fine with that, as long as your word count ends up being 700 words. Okay. 2, make sure to show how the philosophy is working for the particular philosopher in question, here Montaigne, not to show how you feel about it personally or in your opinion, okay? In other words, I'm getting a sense of how this is understood, okay? How you are understanding this. And then this is also an indication to get the spelling of the philosopher's name right. Okay? Then, because this is a common problem, and as you could see, his name is kind of unusual, so be sure that you're spelling Montaigne's name correctly as you're going along. Then also avoid, so 3, avoid using verb phrases as insert name of philosopher here, says, okay, or Montaigne talks about, Aristotle talks about, so-and-so said this, so-and-so said that. When you're tempted to use those verb phrases, click on this, and here you have linked to what's called Bloom's taxonomy of verbs, action verbs, and that'll help you to substitute words for talks, says. So here, Montaigne categorizes, Montaigne compares, he contrasts, Montaigne relates, Montaigne selects, Montaigne practices, Montaigne shows, etc. Okay, so be sure that you work on that. Then 4, make sure to write to the word count, which is 700 words. If you do not write to the word count, you are not allowing yourself enough room to move through the ideas. Okay, so make sure that you are approximately writing 700 words. 5, do not use any quotations. Okay, so in other words, do not use any quotations, and so write in your own words. If your Turnitin similarity is higher than 10%, I will not grade the essay. And then here's a note too that, like, let's say you did itemize these, there will be a showing on your Turnitin similarity, but that's clear to me. Okay, so in other words, if you use these, I can tell because your Turnitin similarity is rather detailed, and it will indicate whether or not you just use these instructions. So if you copy and pasted these instructions, no problem. Okay, and I could tell. Then 6, but obviously you want to avoid other things that are copy and pasted. Okay, and then 6, reread aloud as you go to avoid typos and grammatical errors. If I cannot understand your line of thought, I cannot understand the philosophy. Okay, and then 7, do not write about any of the philosophical ideas as if they are persons. Virtue states or skepticism believes. This is a real common mistake students make. In other words, we want to treat the theories as if they were active persons, and they are not. Okay? We are the ones that are virtuous. We are the ones that are skeptical, etc. Okay? So be sure to avoid that. 8, do ask me questions if you are confused about any of the instructions here, okay? In other words, do not, under any circumstances, submit writing before you clear up any confusion, okay? And then complain later that my instructions were confusing. So the last thing you want to do is be confused, write something, get a C, let's say, and then complain your instructions were confusing, Mr. Madrid, because then by then it's too late to help you. Okay. And I've had students do this quite frequently. Okay. So be sure that you ask the questions before you submit anything so as to clear up your confusion, because I can't help you with the confusion afterward. Well, I guess I could help you with the confusion, but I can't help you change the paper from there. Okay. And then so this is due Monday, September 28th at 11:30 p.m. Okay. And so that helps us so that I don't take this time out in our Zoom meeting to read through these. So what is critical here is this step on how the philosophy is working. So in other words, with all of these, you're focusing on the structure of the philosophy. How is that working? Okay. And as you could see, most of these are asking that question to begin with. Okay. So there's always this indication of how this is understood. So you are explaining that. Okay. And we're going to have a prep on this for our Zoom meeting. And that will be the opportunity for you to ask me any questions about any of this. Okay. So I think that should be good enough to get us started. And thank you.